Russia is draining a massive Ukrainian reservoir, endangering a nuclear plant.
Here's a summary of the article.
Russia appears to be draining an enormous reservoir in Ukraine, imperiling drinking water, agricultural production and safety at Europe's largest nuclear plant, according to satellite data obtained by NPR. Since early November of 2022, water has been gushing out of the Kakhovka reservoir, in southern Ukraine, through sluice gates at a critical hydroelectric power plant controlled by Russian forces. Separate images provided by the commercial companies Planet and Maxar show water pouring through the gates, and shoreline along the giant reservoir emerging as a result of the rapidly falling water levels. The reservoir is essential to supplying water to otherwise arid farmland in the southern part of the country, according to Brian Kunz, a geographer at the Swedish University of Agricultural Sciences who has studied farming in southern Ukraine. Following Russia's larger invasion of Ukraine in February of 2022, one of the goals was to restore Crimea's water supply, and Russia did so that summer by diverting water out of the reservoir. Russia appeared to have spent several months using the Kakhovka reservoir to refill a network of reservoirs in Crimea, according to David Helms, a retired meteorologist with decades of experience working for the U.S. federal government, most recently at the National Oceanographic and Atmospheric Administration. Then on November 11 of 2022, as Ukrainian forces advanced, Russian troops blew up a road over the Kakhovka hydroelectric dam, which controls the water level on the reservoir. In its statement, the Zaporizhzhia Regional Military Administration suggested that the purpose of draining the reservoir may be in part to flood the area south of the dam, in an effort to keep Ukrainian forces from crossing the Dnipro River.
This post received a score of 33,000, with an upvote ratio of 93%. Here are the top comments in response to this article.
The water wars have begun?
Well, if they cause a nuclear meltdown that harms NATO, the gloves really come off.
Russia is picking a big fight. Seems suicidal for Putin.
Putin doesn't seem to worry as much about his own survival anymore, more about his legacy. Those not eager to die for said legacy should be mindful of how little Putin values any life but his own.
Some very large tables would disagree with the assessment that he doesn't much care about his own survival anymore.
RLC, again.
The one thing Russia knows how to do well: drain lakes and suffer catastrophic consequences.
Well, they won't be the ones to suffer. If Russia is handily defeated and Ukraine can negotiate some amount of concessions from Russia, I wouldn't be surprised if refill our goddamn reservoir was one of them.
I'm of the opinion that Russia as a single state shouldn't exist by the time this is over.
Out of curiosity, what parts of Russia do you think should be split into smaller nations? What would it achieve? And do you see any potential drawbacks to splitting Russia up?
China will eat the smaller eastern ones. If you think that's good or bad, that's up to you.
The most likely eastern ones don't border China. They border Kazakhstan and Mongolia. The closest bits of China, like North Xinjiang, are remote and barely populated. The majority of China's population lives within 500 miles of the eastern coast, and consequently the majority of China's military operates there too. China has a ton of crises of its own right now: population, COVID, housing market, succession as she ages. It isn't in a place to have a Kaliningrad-type exclave hundreds, thousands of miles from the places it is used to projecting force.
Them grabbing a whole ton more land would be hugely beneficial to them. Might even make a move for largest country.
Absolutely depraved.
Completely depraved. This is alarming for just so many reasons. One of many being that it will affect agricultural production, and Ukraine is one of the world's leading grain exporters.
Didn't even Turkey basically tell Russia not to fuck up the grain supply? Wonder if they will actually do anything to more closely support Ukraine after this.
I mean, knowing Erdogan, probably not, but maybe they'll finally approve Sweden into NATO. Probably not, but one can hope.
If elections aren't delayed, then Erdogan is likely done for. His response to the earthquake and planning for it has cost very many lives. The religious radicals will still vote for him, of course, but he's losing anyone in the middle. So mid-May you're likely to have a government happy to approve their NATO entry.
This video was automatically created by Reddit to speech. The article and comments in this video were selected from Reddit according to their upvotes, and any paraphrasing was performed by smmry.com, without any human intervention.